Okay, so in first part of this video we have taken the reading for the ammeter and voltmeter, that is the reading of current and voltage. Now we are discussing about taking the readings of temperatures. Temperature of the thermocouples connected on this copper rod. Okay, so this is one copper rod. Okay, the test specimen is like this only, which is connected inside this blue colored shell. Thermocouples are connected on this rod by such a holes. Okay, so there are a total 9 holes which are on the, this is the another type of rod, just for the information I am telling you. In this particular hole a thermocouple is placed, okay, and through such a wire it is connected to this indicator. Okay, such a 9 thermocouples are there on the copper rod. This copper rod is basically hollow from inside. On the at the base of this rod heater is there, and thermocouples are on the side, or we can say on the surface of this rod, which will give us the temperature at every point. So actually the total rod size, as I have said in the previous video, total rod size is 410 mm. Okay, part of the rod is inside the heater. Okay, heater is wrapped to this particular rod like this, and thermocouples are connected over the test section of 200 mm, last 200 mm, means first thermocouple is connected at this particular point, and last, that is 9th thermocouple is connected at this particular point. So starting from T1, T2, T3, T4, they are arranged at equal distance. So T1, T2, T3, T4 to T9. T9 is towards the end, T1 is towards the heat source. Okay, this we have seen in the previous video. Now we are supposed to take the temperatures of this T1 to T9 in order to measure the thermal conductivity of this rod. So just note this reading. You have the observation table with you. So first we have to note down the temperatures from T1 to T9. Okay, so this is the temperature for T1, that is 150. This is for T2, 140. T3, 131. T4, 121. T5, 108. T6, 103. T7, 86. T8, it's 78. And T9 is 73. Okay, so I hope you have noted down the readings, okay, from T1 to T9. Basically we have taken the readings from T1 to T9 in order to calculate dt. As you know, the conductivity can be found out with the help of the Fourier's law of heat conduction, that is Q is equal to minus Ka dt by dx, out of which K you are supposed to find out. Area you can find out with the help of this formula, that is the rod is there. So pi by 4 into d square. Then dt means T1 minus T9 will be your dt, and dx means the distance between 2 points where you are going to measure the temperature, that is distance between T1 and T9, and that distance is 200 mm, which is the test section. So out of the unknown parameter, that is Q is equal to minus Ka dt by dx, we have calculated A, dt and dx. Okay, now if we want value of K, then we should know the left hand side, that is Q, means amount of heat which is transferred through that rod. Now who is generating the heat? This particular coil or heat source is generating the heat with the help of this current and voltage difference. We can calculate the heat with the help of this, that is V into I, but that is the actual heat generated. We want what is the heat conducted. because whatever the heat generated, that may be radiated out, that may be leaked from this side, because this shell, ideally we are saying that the heat conduction is in one directional, but in actual practice the heat flow takes place in all the three directions. Okay, so whatever the heat generated by this particular heater with the help of V and I, that same amount is not conducted. Then the next question is how to find out the heat conducted. Okay, so in order to calculate what is the amount of heat conducted, this is a separate arrangement is made. Now what is this arrangement? At the end of this rod, one water jacket is there. Water jacket means a simply annulus is there in which water can flow. Water is going to enter from this particular side, okay, and water will leave from bottom. Water will entering from this side, water will leave from this side. Okay, means this particular water which is flowing in this jacket or water is flowing over that rod is taking the heat which is conducted by the copper rod. Okay, so if we are able to calculate what is the amount of heat carried out by this water or flowing water, then we will get the value of Q. Okay, then how to calculate the amount of heat carried by this particular water? Okay, so this particular mechanism is basically called as convection. Okay, because water is flowing over the solid. Whenever any fluid is going to flow over the solid, it is the mode called as convection. Then how to calculate the heat in convection? That is Q is equal to what? Q is equal to mCp delta T. This is the heat carried away by water. M is the mass flow rate of the water in kg per second. Then Cp is the specific heat of the water, that we know, 4.187 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. And delta T is the difference in the temperature of the water, inlet temperature and outlet temperature. Of course, as water is carrying away the heat, it means the temperature of the outlet water will be higher than inlet water. Okay, so here what two readings we are supposed to take in order to calculate amount of heat carried away by the water. First is mass flow rate of the water and second one is what is the temperature difference of the water. First we will take the reading for the temperature difference. Okay, up till now we have taken the temperatures T1 to T9 on the rod for the conduction. Now for the water, the next two thermocouples are there, T10 and T11. Okay, T10 will give you the inlet water temperature, T11 will give you the outlet water temperature. Now I will measure the temperature T10 first, then we will measure the T11. Okay, so this is the T10, please note down T10 as 32 degrees Celsius and T11 as 33 degrees Celsius. Okay, so when water will flow, there is a rise in the temperature of 1 degree. So T10 is 32 degrees Celsius, T11 is 33 degrees Celsius. So in order to calculate Q, we are in need of M, Cp and delta T of water, that we have calculated. Cp we know, only unknown is what is the mass flow rate of water. Now we are going to measure, if you are going to concentrate, see water is coming out from here. So if we are going to measure this particular water, how much amount of water is flowing, then we can able to calculate the amount of heat which is conducted through the rod and which is carried away by the water. Now in order to measure this, first we will measure the volume flow rate. Now there are two types of flow rate, one is called as mass flow rate and another is called as volume flow rate. Mass flow rate, in this particular formula of Q, we are in need of mass flow rate. The unit of mass flow rate is kg per second. Okay, but first we are going to measure the flow rate, that is the volume flow rate, that is in meter cube per second, and then we are going to convert it to the kg per second. So now we are going to take the reading for volume flow rate measurement for this water. Okay, now for this what we are going to, the technique which we are going to use is called as catch and time method. Means we are going to catch that water in known volume of beaker like this. Suppose this beaker consists of 500 ml of volume. Then we are going to, or another beaker we have, that is of 1 liter or 1000 ml volume like this. This method you are going to use a number of times in the next experiment in the subjects like fluid mechanics, hydraulic machinery. So this is called as catch and time method. So we are going to catch the water in this beaker of having known volume. Say volume is 1 liter. Okay, 1 liter means 1 into 10 raised to minus 3 meter cube. So, and we are going to take the time to fill or to catch this much amount of volume. Means suppose the one, in order to fill this 1 liter of beaker or 1 liter of volume, say time required is 50 seconds, then volume will be 1 liter upon 50 seconds. That is your volume flow rate. Volume flow rate means meter cube per second or liter per second or ml per second. Okay, any volume with respect to that calculation I will explain you on the board. So now we will take the reading for the calculating the volume flow rate. The reading will require one stopwatch and this beaker. Okay, in order to fill 1 liter of the water, what is the time required, that we are going to calculate. Okay, so now I will take the reading for this. Just a minute, I will arrange the stopwatch. Okay, as soon as I will start pouring this water inside the beaker, I will just start the this particular stopwatch on mobile. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, start. Okay, so time required to fill 1 liter of this particular jar is 58 seconds. Okay, so take the reading of time as 58 seconds and the volume is 1 liter. Okay, 1 liter means 1000 ml. So you can take the volume collected as 1000 ml in time 58 seconds. Okay, so how to perform the calculation, that I will explain you on the board. So this is about the observations of the experiments. So we have done with the experiment. Then we have to shut down everything properly. We have to put this dimmer to the 0 position. Then we are supposed to switch off this particular knob, and we are supposed to keep this water flow rate for next 10 to 15 seconds, so that water will that particular rod will cool down. Okay. So this is about the experiment number 1. How to do the calculation or how to calculate the conductivity, that I will explain you on the board. Okay, thank you so much.